than Hopkins in this fight. The USBA rules.
Attention to the blue corner. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce two former champions. A former light heavyweight champion and heavyweight champion, the very popular Michael Spinks. And one of the most popular heavyweights to ever reign in the heavyweight division, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Smokin' Joe Frazier. Ladies and gentlemen, the officials are signed by the governing bodies for the next bout of the evening. The judges are Patricia Morse-Jarman, Keith McDonald, and Dalby Shirley. Your referee is Richard Steele. Representing the USBA at ringside from the state of Florida, Mr. Al Goodman. And now Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers, invite you to sit back and enjoy 12 rounds of boxing for the USBA Middleweight Championship. Introducing, in the red corner, fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in at 159 pounds, with a professional record of 14 wins, 1 defeat, 3 draws, and 9 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, Roi Ricci. And in the blue corner, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he weighed in at an even 160 pounds. His professional record consists of 22 wins, 2 defeats with 16 KOs. He is the USBA middleweight champion, Bernard Hopkins.
Okay, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'll caution again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
Okay, good luck. All the pomp and circumstance in the corner of Bernard Hopkins. He comes in with that tough facade, Sean, but he even admitted how he was swept away by the whole world title scene when he faced Roy Jones, even admitting, hey, that's another step going to a world title fight. It really got to him, and he looks at it now as that learning experience.
Yeah, well, the only problem is you go in with all your entourage, and there you are, you guys are going to take on this one little man across the ring. Then they all get out of the ring, and the man across the ring always looks bigger than you, and faster, and bulkier than you are.
Well, his people in the corner, especially Butch Lewis, certainly knows a lot about his opponent, Roi Ricci, who's originally from St. Louis, fought there as an amateur Golden Gloves champion 5 years in a row, but of late has been fighting most of his fights in France. He had been managed by a French trainer and manager, Jean-Christophe Courage, and 11 of his last 12 fights have been in France. Ricci undefeated in his first 16 bouts. But his last couple of fights, lost an 8-rounder and drew in 8 rounds against Kameshi Balul in France. Balul, a bigger fighter at 167. So Ricci now comes back to the U.S. and certainly has his chance of a lifetime if he pulls off the upset. He is a strong fighter. Originally, he was a light heavyweight, slimmed down, especially below the belt, he says, in the thighs and the rear. And he feels he still brings in the power and the strength of a light heavy in his arms.
Yeah, good little fighter. He has no respect whatsoever for Hopkins. He said he's all right as a fighter. He said he shows me nothing. He said, Sean, I'm going to beat him. I talked about fight plan. He said, I don't have a fight plan. Every fight is different. So Mr. I'm going to try maybe to go to the body, but he's not doing that here in this first round. And take it one round at a time.
Hopkins going to the body, then upstairs. His nickname is the Executioner. He does have 16 knockouts in his 22 fights, 12 in the first round, but he's not really just a puncher, a boxer puncher. His boxing ability actually sets up those KOs, but there's an asterisk in the knockouts. Sean, he has 12 in the first round, but that means there are not many that come a little later. Matter of fact, after 3 rounds, Hopkins has but 2 KOs.
Well, he's never had one after 5. And so, he is a fast starter. Sometimes, always in good shape, but sometimes it takes a lot out of him early.
So Ricci then in no hurry and wants to get it past the third, figures he may equalize it a little more in the later rounds.
Yeah, Ricci shows a lot of poise here in this opening round. There is a body shot shot from Bernard. He gets a warning from the referee for it. Referee is Richard Steele.
Richie said he wanted to keep busy, but so far it's Hopkins, the busier of the fighters in the initial round.
Well, the reason that Hopkins is busier is because he's hurting Richie with these punches. See, he's got Richie's back against the ropes. Richie is now on his heels. You can't get much power when you are on your heels like that.
It's mostly Hopkins in the first.
He's got control. Don't be so tall, baby.
He doesn't feel he's taking too much of a gamble in this one. Bernard Hopkins says he'll take on all comers. Wants to get back in to a world title fight.
And a fight like this is important. It's activity. It's on television. He's showing the world and the world champions that, hey, I'm Bernard Hopkins. I'm back. I'm not messed up by the loss to Roy Jones.
Ranked number 1 when he went into the fight with Jones. He's dropped to number 3 in the IBF.
Oh, and I tell you, I saw the fight with Jones and I thought, gosh, what a terrific fighter Bernard Hopkins is. The great focus, the concentration he showed in that match. Now, I thought Roy Jones won the fight pretty handily, but I was impressed with the focus and the concentration that Bernard Hopkins had during that match.
Although Hopkins afterwards said he fought the wrong fight strategically. He fought Jones's fight.
But he was right in there.
And he said Jones was at the top of his game.
He was, yeah. And Roy Jones, no question, one of the best fighters pound for pound today.
Bernard Hopkins, his first fight was as a light heavyweight, 177 pounds, and he lost his first fight to Clinton Mitchell back in October of 1988. His 2 losses, his first fight and his last fight to Roy Jones, sandwiched in between 22 straight wins. His first big win was against Percy Harris in his 7th fight. And then last year beat Dennis Milton, stopped him in the 4th round, won this USBA middleweight championship with a first-round knockout over Wayne Powell, a right-hand stop Powell in 21 seconds of the first round.
Yeah, and he said throughout his career he has been continually tested. Even in this fight, he's being tested because more pressure this round from Roy Ricci. And Hopkins trying to make him run into those punches.
Hopkins made 1 defense, 12-round victory over the hard-nosed Gilbert Baptiste, who we'll see next week, trying to get out against Lamar Parks.
Hard-nosed is right. Tough, always in a good fight. Good aggressive style. Moving forward is Ricci with the hands down. Dangerous things to do.
Now, Ricci wants to take it into some of the later rounds, but not too late, because Roy Ricci has never gone past 8 rounds. Right now, piling up the points in the first couple of rounds is Bernard Hopkins. He said he's dropped to number 3 in the IBF, ranked number 7 by the BA, and 10 by the WBC. Hard to think of 9 other middleweights that should be ranked ahead of Bernard Hopkins.
Very tough man. Look at the basics he's carrying. The chin down, the hands up, the elbows in tight. That's why he's not getting hit here and why he's hitting Roy Ricci. Good work from Hopkins.
Packed at the Riviera. On the Strip in Las Vegas, USA's Tuesday night fights, back-to-back at the Riv. Main event last week, Alex Garcia, James Waring fighting to a 12-round controversial draw. Matter of fact, Sean, we're trying to break our main event streak 2 weeks in a row, concluding even. Pancho Segura, Benny Amparo the week before, and the blue.
Well, between rounds, Jim Strickland felt like Roy Ricci had a good round. He said, you're following instructions well. He said that was a better round, and you do better when you move in behind your jab. Wants him to punch more on the inside once he's in. Good instructions. Ooh, Strickland.
Nice shot by Roy Ricci, catching Hopkins for the moment in the corner.
Yeah, Hopkins has his mouth open.
Best exchange for Roy Ricci, the 28-year-old out of St. Louis. He has had 1 fight in the U.S. since April of '91. 11 of his last 12 fights in France, where he was handled by a manager from France. And he just kind of moved the operation.
Yeah, he's won only one in his last 4, but he says, you know, when you're fighting in the other man's country and you're fighting men from France, that they sometimes take the fight from you. Says that
he had to be used to fighting there, although you say he won 2 withdrawals. So here we are in the 3rd round. A learning experience tonight for Otis Grant, who whacked out Brett Lally in the 4th round. And as you said, you knew he'd be ringside for this one because he someday wants to be in the ring against Bernard Hopkins. He's hoping for a world championship. So the education continues.
Oh, that's part of it. That's being a businessman as boxing. You're supposed to pay attention to your opponents or your opponents in the future.
Otis taking a little bit of a shot from Brett Lally. You can see on the face. It was all Otis Grant dissecting Lally in 4.
Oh, yeah.
Very impressive showing. The Canadian middleweight champion who goes to 21-0. And right now, a little dissection upstairs by Bernard Hopkins.
Roy Ricci doing a good job, though, following instruction. Remember what they said? Jim Strickland said, follow the jab and move in behind your jab.
Great. Step back.
And he is trying to do that. It is Hopkins who has taken that half step back, resetting, and then allowing for Ricci to run into something.
And Ricci got Hopkins by 3. Well, priority number 1 for Roy Ricci was to take Bernard Hopkins past the 3rd round, and he has done that, even though Hopkins looks to be pretty much in front so far. Ricci had his moments midway in that 3rd round.
Yeah, he became more aggressive in that 3rd round. He was throwing the jab more, but it was Hopkins who was taking the step back and unloading. You know, this is very impressive from Hopkins. This is experience. See him picking his shots. Don't waste a single punch out there. Put them right on your opponent's nose, and then move.
Well, we saw Otis Grant at ringside watching this fight in the last round, and we have now given Otis even a better seat right next to the ring. He joins us right here. Very impressive showing in stopping Brett Lally in the 4th round in our first fight to retain his NABF championship. Congratulations, Otis, and I guess the schoolwork is continuing now, watching a guy who I'm sure you'd like to face somewhere down the road, Bernard Hopkins.
Bernard is very sharp in there tonight. You know, he's picking his shots. He's not wasting too many punches. And he's just working. He's working nicely. But I seen him he caught Roy Ricci with a couple of good shots. I thought he was stronger puncher there. And maybe Ricci's just tough. But I thought Bernard would take him out early the way he started the 1st round.
Good overhand right now. He's picking his shots. Do you think he should be doing that after what happened the last round? In and out?
I think he's doing a good job, but like if he gives Ricci the chance, like right there, Ricci should be throwing straight punches because he's on the ropes, you know. But like, look at that.
Yeah. And Ricci is also following him around, staying right at the wrong distance.
And he's getting hit.
Yeah.
He's right in front of him. He's not doing any feints. He's not slipping. He's just standing straight up.
Ricci has a tendency to get lazy defensively. He takes unnecessary punches that he could block. And he just doesn't get into that defensive mode. And that's been a problem of his of late.
Sure, you know, it's an easier way to fight out.
Right.
You just stand there and you can take the punch, kind of roll with the punch instead of blocking it. Sometimes it doesn't hurt, but the impression to the judges looks awful.
Trying to get inside now is Roy Ricci.
Yeah, he is at the wrong distance. You got to get all the way in or all the way out.
And also, Ricci's only throwing 1 punch at a time.
Exactly.
You should put in punches together.
Yep, exactly. Well, they were telling him between rounds to go in behind the jab. He's lost that.
Coming down to 10 seconds to go in the 4th round, and we will pause for word from your local cable systems. You're watching USA's Tuesday Night Fights. In the all-black trunks is Bernard Hopkins. Middleweight world contender, comes off the loss for the IBF championship against Roy Jones in a 12-rounder. And right now he squares off against the 28-year-old Roy Ricci from St. Louis. And Richie takes that left hook. Al Albert along with the champ, Sean O'Grady, and we're being joined by Otis Grant, who was successful in his defense of the NABF middleweight championship earlier tonight in a very good-looking fourth-round knockout over Brett Lally. And right now, Otis Grant, who, of course, is a college graduate, finishes schooling at Concordia University in Montreal, and doing a little homework right now, watching a man who is ranked ahead of him in the middleweight division, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard has been taken now to the 5th round and had kind of a tongue lashing in the corner.
He got beat up in that corner. Bowie Fisher telling him, short shot, and telling him to wake up out there. Come on, let's go to work. Let's wake up. Do you think he's falling asleep in this fight, Otis?
No, I think Bernard is hurting Roy Ricci, but he's not finishing. You know, he's getting over on Ricci. One right there, one shot, and he's not following up.
Doing just enough to win?
If he would hit him clean there and follow up 2, 3, 4 punch combination, he would take Ricci out. But if he's just hitting him one at a time, then I think Ricci can stay in there because it looks like he has good recuperation skills.
Why do you think he's doing that?
I don't know. Maybe he's just in that mode of like throwing one at a time. Maybe.
Does it have anything to do with you sitting here at ringside?
I don't.
Maybe not divulge any secrets?
I don't think you even know that I'm here.
Well, just stand up at the table and wave and
put your gloves on.
No,
stand up at the table and put your gloves on.
Well, he's certainly inviting Roy Ricci with Hopkins holding the arms real low.
Oh, I love that.
You want to get in there.
No, if a guy puts his hands down and dares me to hit him, I'm going to try. But Hopkins should put his punches together. Like 2, 3, 4 punch combination, not one at a time.
Exactly. A lot of fighters that I talk to, Otis, they don't care to see their opponent before they actually fight him. Do you? And why?
It doesn't really matter to me, you know. Like,
keep him up.
It's a low blow. I didn't see Brett Lally until the press conference yesterday and then at the weigh-in. But I think what happens with me, when I see my opponents before the fight, a lot of times I'll say hello to them, I wish them luck, and I'll start to like them.
Closing seconds of round number 5. Bernard Hopkins and Roy Ricci for the USBA Middleweight Championship. Bernard Hopkins and Roy Ricci squaring off in the middle of the ring for round number 6 of the scheduled 12-rounder. And so far, most of the explosiveness has been in the corner of Bernard Hopkins. Again, hearing it from Bowie Fisher and company.
Right hand, left hook. Jab, right hand, left hook, and the uppercut. The man's walking right into you. Open your mouth. You understand? The man's walking right into you. Step over to the side and throw the uppercut. You understand me? Bring the hook right back over the top and he's out of there. You understand me? When you buzz him, go right back downstairs. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to work, man. Come on.
That is Rob Murray leaning over the ropes, giving instructions to Hopkins. He wants him to throw the uppercuts and then come back with a left hook. Your opponent, when Ricci is leaning over, just walking right straight in, is asking for those punches. Good instructions,
yeah,
Otis?
I think so. You know, he's telling him to put his punches together. He's uppercut, left hook after. And I saw Hopkins looked over at me between rounds and he gave me a nod. I don't know if that nod means that he knows that I'm here or if he's going to try to take him out this round for me or something, but he acknowledged that I was sitting here. Look at that. One at a time again. He threw one left hook and one right hand.
Exactly. Single punches.
As you sit here ringside looking up at Hopkins, do you measure yourself with Hopkins? You're ranked 6th in the world by one of the divisions, and Hopkins ranked number 3.
No, I don't really measure myself, you know, because there's a lot of, I think, bureaucracy with the ratings, and I don't even know where I'm ranked in the division and who is ranked ahead or behind. That's something I don't put much emphasis on. I just, you know, take the fights when they come, and I fight whoever they give me. Look at that. He's putting his punches together.
That's the combinations they've been asking for. And maybe that was the nod that he was telling to you.
So Otis Grant, after 21 fights, you think you're ready in your next fight for Bernard Hopkins?
Oh, you know, it's not You know, my trainer, Russ, manager, whatever Russ and Tim Clahane, my promoter back home in Montreal, think I'm ready for, they give it to me. Yeah, I'm not particular about who I fight. I'm ready to fight whoever is out there in the division or whoever is going to stand in my way to keep me away from the title. So whoever there is, I'll take it.
When you think about it, good following instructions from Bernard Hopkins. They told him to throw the uppercuts and punch more on the inside. He's used the uppercuts well. Now he's got Richie really falling in. Go back to the uppercuts, then come back with the left hook. Well, they got what they wanted in that 6th round, because here are the punches and bunches from Bernard Hopkins, the combinations, and look at the damage that second punch is doing from Hopkins. Richie is stepping in post holes after the second punch. Not the first one, but the second one. You cannot knock your opponent out with one shot. You have to throw combinations.
Richie's also bleeding from the eye, so if they don't keep that eye closed, they may step in and stop the fight.
Cut over the left eye.
And if Hopkins could work on that cut, like he's in the driver's seat, he's already in the driver's seat, but he should be working on the cut with the jab.
Richie claiming it was a headbutt from Hopkins. And now it is Hopkins looking in, measuring, straight right hand, and a good one.
Right on the cut.
Al Albert with Sean O'Grady, and we're being joined here with Otis Grant, who made it 21-0 with a 4th-round TKO over Brett Lally in our first fight tonight for the NABF middleweight crown. And Otis watching on, perhaps man Bernard Hopkins, who he'll be facing down the road in a very attractive middleweight division. The left hook, and it staggers Roy Ricci. Closing in is Bernard Hopkins.
Ready to go. Hopkins needs it. He has not had a knockout after the 5th round. If he could end it here, it would be good on the ledger. Would be impressive. Richard's feeling close.
He's not giving himself enough room to let his combination flow smoothly.
And this should be it.
That's it. That's all. Roy Ricci just outclassed and outpunched.
No standing 8 count. Richard Steele peering in closely. And Roy Ricci just taking too many shots. Bernard Hopkins. His corner may have felt he started a little slowly or just didn't get the motor humming, but he certainly had it going the last couple of rounds.
And what you want to do when you're fighting a man like this, like Roy Ricci, is be very cautious early. Be careful. Let them come in and score and perhaps steal a couple of those first rounds, although I thought Hopkins won every round. And then come back after that and take them out. You cut them, you finally knock them out, or you stop them, as in this case. Bernard Hopkins, very good-looking middleweight.
So Roy Ricci had his best flurry in the 3rd round, but that was it. And Bernard Hopkins knew what was in front of him, and he knew Roy Ricci would be in front of him for the whole fight. So both champions defend tonight. Otis Grant, the NABF championship. Otis, thanks for joining us here for your commentary. And
thanks for having me over.
We're looking forward to seeing you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Very nice.
And the USBA middleweight title held by Bernard Hopkins. He makes his defense. Butch Lewis in the corner with him. And he, too, just like Otis, looking for bigger and better things in a terrific middleweight division.
And here is a look at it right there at the end. Watch this hook. Kaboom. Now, this is where Roy Ricci was staggered. Stumbled back toward the ropes, and he would never get off the ropes. And it was Bernard Hopkins right on top of him, sensing that the end was near. Staying close is Richard Steele, in fact, saying something, probably saying, punch back or I'm going to stop it, Richie. And again, staying very close, and that's enough. Richard Steele right on top of the action says that's enough.
And Hopkins now goes to 23-2, and the Roy Jones fight is only a memory, and he looks to quickly get another world title fight, looking for either Roy Jones again or Reggie Johnson or Gerald McClellan. Let's get the official time and Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 1 minute, 41 seconds of the 7th round. Referee Richard Steele stops the bout. The winner by a TKO and still USBA middleweight champion, Bernard Hopkins.
His 17th KO, but as Sean mentioned, only the first after round number 5. So Hopkins adds something to the ledger here tonight. We have some